It's
GG
fully
well
gone.
played. Thanks for playing. He tried to do an account transfer, like a swap.
Yeah, no. And he got in, and then when he let go of the account, it disappeared forever, gone.
All right, we're live. It feels good to be back. I haven't done a stream. I went on a stream with Stu yesterday or the day before, but I haven't done my own stream in a while. We are here with all my trench boys, lads, warriors of this current chop.
One thing to call us.
We have many names. We all have many names.
My mother calls me a disappointment.
It's generally rough right now in the trenches, man. I think in crypto in general, like, I don't know about you guys, but numerous of my friends, like quite a few of them, have literally told me, like, yeah, I'm trying to pivot back into Web 2. I'm so poor. We're literally like at 80K BTC, and people are like talking about how poor they are and wanting to like pivot back and just do something else. It's fucking tragic, man. Like, if we were at like 30K and everyone's poor, I'd be like, you know what, fair play. Like, it is what it is. Like, we're down atrociously, but we're not even down that bad. And everyone's just like eating shit.
Meanwhile, on Solana.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolute bullshit. I think the people that are complaining are the ones on Solana. I completely agree that Bitcoin's fine, but Solana's basically just been pegged. Like, it's literally fucked. Go look at the Sol chart and then put it next to the Bitcoin chart. Like, the Bitcoin chart looks great, but Sol is just absolutely down.
Pull up. I was going to pull up the pump fund revenues real quick.
Bro, when you just look at a few months ago, we were like, oh, let me buy 0.5 Sol. It's like $120. And now you're sitting here and you're like, 1 Sol is 120. It's fucking tragic, bro.
We looked at it in GBP. Sol is under £100.
I don't know who looks at the GBP chart though.
All I know is price go down of this GBP.
Cooked.
I'm trying to find pump fun on. Oh, here it is. Okay, got it.
Buy Dune or something.
There's a good Dune for it.
What is a Dune? But DeFi Armor is, I think, just straight up inaccurate. Says 2.6 mil.
Just go Dune.com and then go.
Yeah, I got it.
I sent a good
That's the right one, but
yeah,
I was reading the other day.
Evelyn, you go on Evelyn's one.
Evelyn. Don't see an Evelyn.
Pump dash data.
That's 30 days, 54 mil. That sounds about right.
Yeah, this one. This one's good.
7 day, 5 mil. Oh, I've got a link. My quants is sending me data as we speak.
Killing mosquito.
Here we go. So
this one's good.
24 hours.
No, go back to those charts up there. Those ones there that you went past. Yeah. Hold it over today. There was actually a really weird spike in
Yeah. Okay, so maybe it was actually around 2 mil today.
Got to be bullshit. I'd love to know who's money laundering on Pump Fund, but something's going on. Look at that. Yeah, actually look at that candle again. What is going on there?
You call.
I mean, that's only actually 2 mil-ish. Yeah.
Yeah,
but like compared to yesterday.
Yeah.
Go back a day, 700 Sol to 15K Sol is crazy.
Yeah, especially because like, what runner have we had today? I've seen jack shit.
Has actually anything happened today like, that would make any sense?
I need you guys to repost the stream link. I'm gonna send it to all of you.
I mean,
can I just repost it from your account? Yeah, right.
There's no fucking point in me reposting it.
That's fine.
Mid-cycle match.
Let's pull up ETH. Oh, okay. Apparently, no ETH today. They take ETH off. What happened?
But it's in your favorites.
Yeah, sorry, I'm being retarded. I feel like when I stream, it's harder to focus on like finding shit because you're thinking about streaming. You'll notice if you stream.
You see, I have that one because I have the whole YouTube channel like while recording, but like it comes out kind of like easily because you're not like thinking that there's live people or like you have to have a conversation. I'm literally just LARPing to a microphone for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Well,
it'd be like that sometimes.
when you look at the VRVP, I'm a fucking nerd when I'm on these videos, bro.
Bro, so my logic with this post, me and Yqboom were speaking about it before. So there was a eGirl Capital article where, you know, it spoke about different types of strategies to winning in crypto. And Mr. DJ Spartan, who I believe is the one who wrote the article, he's like an OG. He's like a GCR type figure for people who don't know who he is. Dom. And basically he called a massive like bear trap in the market right now, implying that, you know, everyone thinks market's gonna go much lower, but like realistically, like at some point in the near-ish future, probably like gigapump, right? Like when everyone's max bearish, when everyone's risk off, when everyone's stabled, that's when you're kind of calling things to most likely turn around. And so I posted like this bear trap. Bitcoin like is kind of having that bear trap, general macro and majors and all that kind of stuff. And then you have like the equivalent of the bear trap, which is the mouse trap that is Pump Fun and Solana users.
You can probably slap Kokoro on there, no?
Slap what?
The base. I feel like this isn't just Sol and Pump Fun.
Oh, Kokoro?
This isn't broad enough. Are you trying to say that like everything other than just buying Bitcoin here is just like bait?
I'm trying to say that it's there's a you know the games that you're playing, and there's levels to this game is what I'm trying to say. If Bitcoin is a bear trap,
that's kind of like wordy bullshit, isn't it? That's not really saying it.
Yeah, I'm just laughing. It's just like funny right curve memes that no one gets. Apart from me, by Google. So Kokoro, right? So Own the Doge is this Doge affiliated organization that basically runs like Doge events. They raise money for Doge. There's the Doge statue in Japan near where the owner of Doge and Kabosu is like the name of Doge or whatever. And then there's like another dog in theory called Kokoro, right? Which is the one that a bunch of people were making a meme coin. I think it was called like Manu back in the day for this like black Shiba. And they basically just like out of nowhere were like, yo, we're gonna launch a fucking meme of this like next dog backed by the original owner. We're gonna seed it with 1 mil LP, and it's like the only thing that's actually really happened on base that's like mildly legit in a while since AI agents. And you know, it had oh fuck, my mouse is spazzing out. It had a pretty insane run up to 100 mil. And you know, myself and Dom were trading it. Dom found this at like 20 mil, I think, because Mr. Sappy himself, the on-chain.
I actually bought it on Pump Fun on bonding, and if I held the one I bought on bonding on Pump Fun, I'd actually have made money instead of lost money because I bought on base. So TLDR, the only person that makes money on base is Sappy. The rest of the chain is shit. Don't use it. Stay on Solana.
Yeah. But
see what really turned me off Ethereum as a whole was Empath Chan posting a photo in an Ethereum crop top. And
no way.
Chain got unbelievably more gay. Yep. Like actually like criminal levels.
I think again? Yeah, I think Nico's gonna need a link just to check this.
Yeah, I need to check this. We need to fact check this.
Like goon material.
Nico's also gonna take a 15-minute break.
We have a close friend who's an OG DeFi guy, and like he's like big in the Doge community. And I asked him about this, and he said bullish. Now it probably will continue to just like range lower. I thought it might hold like 20, but I guess the whole market nukes. Yeah, I texted him like for a bunch of info about this, and he just said one word. He's just like bullish. And it's been down only since then, unfortunately. So,
but I think that like it's just wrong timing to do any of this shit. It's
bad timing.
It's also like last summer, like every summer, it's like there's only a few things, I guess, about cycles that I think repeat themselves quite
Yeah,
like,
bro, it's fucking March.
yeah, I know, but like
It's-
the summer ranges is one of the main things that in my analysis like are just kind of true, which completely makes sense, right? Same as like December, January, like that period, like end December, to just chill out and go fucking spend some fucking time with family, because it's not gonna do anything on like December 25th. You're not gonna get a giga pump, right? Like everyone's off the market, and during summer everyone's chilling. Like that's the only thing in cycle theory that I think that like, or like yearly theory, so to speak, that like actually works out well. Just like chill out a bit during summer months. So like this is just the wrong period also to launch like anything like that, which is supposedly bullet. But I think you can go back 100 mil Kokoro eventually. But we need some base plays to start popping.
I think you're absolutely mental if you think this is going anywhere near 100 mil again. There's absolutely no way.
We're gonna get a dog cycle again. This is gonna be one of the runners, 100%.
No, it's only going down from here. It's been extracted. It looks like the Hawk Tour chart. It's Jova.
It literally looks like the Hawk Tour chart. I'm
Right.
holding it as well. And I just know it's going down, but I'm not selling.
You called me. We were on the call in the morning. You were like, "Yeah, it's a 20 mil right now." I guess that was on the way up still.
Yeah, that was like when it just launched.
I should have fucking just.
I mean, I don't know, man. I thought the Kokoro launch was going to mark the generational bottom on Doge, but it just didn't happen. It just
Honestly,
didn't happen.
I had a
Yeah, we
spot
just like
rotational play into Doge. That was like probably one of my best plays this
Bro.
cycle. I sold like all my Jitto, all my Jupiter, everything, and I just fucking fully rotated into Doge in spot, and
Yeah.
that shit just fucking giga ran from like 1 cent.
It's crazy. This thing's back to like 16 cents. Like I think this. I still think, and I say maybe I'm biased because I had a lot of friends who took this trade, so it feels quite like close to my heart. But like, even though I didn't take it, RIP. But like,
I took that
damn,
exact
like,
play spot.
This
Should have been
trade
perps.
is crazy, bro. This trade is crazy. Like, Bitcoin was gonna run, Doge was gonna run. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah,
was at a
it's
cent.
just like it was like at the time it was like a guaranteed, like eventually this is gonna pump, which was my thesis. Like, but I didn't play it perps, I played it soul, like only on spot. Fantastic fucking tech though. I got around 40, I think. So I didn't mark the top, but
Crazy.
I still glaze myself
should
over this.
Should we address today's Hyperliquid tomfoolery?
Oh,
It
yeah,
wa-
great trade. Great trade. Amazing
the
great trade.
open the open
Insane
short
trade.
was already of concern. No, I think like everyone that was relatively in the loop knew that dude was up like an insane amount of money. Like I knew it a few weeks ago. It was just like once he's gonna start closing, it's gonna be an issue for the HLP. But I didn't think he would close it, but he just did. So I thought he was just gonna sit on it forever, which is like silly of me. But
Insane.
Thurston
I want to see if
sent
I
the
can
good tech.
find the Hyperdash link.
Yeah,
Look at
bro.
that.
See, like that
Look
makes
at
me
the top-
unbelievably.
Look at the top reply. I suddenly feel like buying Ethereum.
I suddenly feel like fucking selling Ethereum.
Oh, should I pull up the fascist ETH video?
Oh,
I'll get banned.
God.
I'll get banned. I can't do that. That'd be
Nah,
insane.
exercise your right of free will.
No. I respect Elon. I respect women. Actually, it's more what it is. I think
642, by the way.
this. I'm pretty sure.
Voted for
I've heard-
Kamala Harris,
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, maybe this isn't the place to go into it, but I've heard some pretty crazy things about this person.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, so me and Dom were sitting and looking into this situation because, like, can we just take a moment to appreciate how the space is so dead right now that when one dude takes a big trade, the entire space is like locked in on this. I've never seen something so, I don't know, simple blow up across my timeline, like by everyone in the same hour. I wonder how many people actually like went and looked at the position and were just like, or were just copy pasting it. But I think when we first started looking at it, the dude was up around 3 mil, which I think was around like just before this parabolic run up. And then like a couple minutes later, I saw it go up to he was like up like 8 mil P&L, and then all of a sudden there was like no position down here, and he was just like, and everyone was like, and I saw someone comment on my post being like, did he get liquidated? And I was like, oh damn, what happened?
No, he just
but it sounds like it was
removed.
a
I think he just took
it's
out
fucking
his.
so smart.
Yeah.
So he basically removed part of his margin while maintaining the size of the position, which forced HLP to have to take the other side of his trade, which in this case,
here's my thesis, right? He left his maintenance margin in so that HLP went like crazy, like did a massive trade, and then he took the trade on a different platform.
Yeah,
He went
that's
on
most
a different
probably.
platform.
apparently Binance or something.
Great trade, amazing trade.
The fucking
Because
insane tech, bro.
HLP has to basically sell the buy or sell the ETH. Which way was it again?
Basically, just
He was-
fucked everyone that's taking HLP.
He was closing out a short, which means
So he took a 270 more ETH long, which meant that HLP was short, right?
oh, okay.
Correct.
And then when ETH when ETH pumped, because whatever, HLP had to, it's kind of fucked. Well, he won. HLP is fucked.
But it's super. Like I sent you a tweet just now on
I put up
on Telegram, like the actual like HLP P&L is like has not really taken a hit, and everyone's like fucking crying about it. Like, yeah, sure, it went down like significantly from where it was, and like it wasn't the most profitable moment for the HLP, but like overall, like if you've been in there
how
for
will
a while,
HLP recover from this? Oh no, it's so over.
yeah, it's like it really did nothing. But it's the same with like just the FUD shit everywhere, right? It's like any opportunity people get nowadays to FUD anything in this market, like people are just bored out of their fucking mind. So I get it. And 90% of 90% of crypto does not understand any on-chain anything. They're just LARPs on the timeline. So whether it's cross-chain shit or it's fucking how HLP works or any of it, they don't understand, and they're just gonna be like, oh, Hyperliquid just got exploited, everybody. And it's like, no, that's not how any of this works. Like that's also what my post is about, like that I wrote about like how everyone wants to pivot back to Web 2. I'm kind of just putting in there like 90% of crypto does not know how to like separate the wheat from the chaff and just like know who to follow and who's actually knowledgeable in the space, or even get knowledge in the space, which means like no shit, you got to pivot back to Web 2 because you know jack shit. I'm just shitting on people right now, rant.
Yeah. I mean, this is how it is. It's Sue might join the stream in a bit as well. There is no exit pump. This is the top. You're going to die. Big yikes.
Super
You
cycle
keep
fake.
predicting my future.
It's a super cycle fake. Super
Yep.
cycle over.
Lego cycle real, bro. I'm coming up with a new cycle theory called Lego cycle.
Indeed, cycle real.
Wait, what's a Lego cycle? We use like stable into Lego sets.
Yeah, you just keep buying more Lego sets, hold on to them, and then eventually value increase, bro. The plastic supply around the world is the oil supply to make plastic is running out. It's a very fucking lucrative business. Trust
I'm
me.
actually rotating all my money into Gen 1 Charizard Pokemon cards.
I think that's retarded, personally. I think Lego, the thesis makes sense, but old school plastic doesn't make any sense. Just Lego, because that is Batman, isn't it? So it just makes sense.
No, the Lego cycle shit essentially, like I just used the Lego example of like things building upon each other on my recent post. Nico, you can open it if you want. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of just explaining in that how like a lot of people think about these cycles as like, or thought about this cycle in terms of the previous cycle, where it's like all the DeFi shit, L1s, all this thing needs to PvP, and then kind of like figure out what the best what the best DeFi protocol is, etc. But this cycle is just fundamentally different. But it's built upon last cycle's PvP of like Sol versus AVAX versus all the shit that was relevant last cycle. And then this cycle, like the winner of that kind of became Sol. Everyone pivoted to Sol to see what you can build on last cycle's winner. So it kind of builds upon each other, these cycles. It's not a isolated factor of like every cycle is going to be the same PvP environment of L1s and DeFi protocols against each other, because that's the only tech. It's like what retail actually wants to use is the tech. Like that's what crypto is here for in the long term, right? And this cycle just proved that most people just want to gamble, which is inherent in like people in general, right? We just want to make money quick. So it just makes sense, but everyone's hating on like this cycle's ruined because of meme coins. Well, meme coins just were the entire cycle. It's just the cycle theory we subscribe to generally in the space is just very convoluted and wrong, in my opinion.
You mentioned going back to Web 2. Honestly, I mean, like, I know I could make it if I had to like quit crypto and do Web 2 for whatever reason, which is not going to happen. Job's not done. But damn, it would be a fucking reality shock going to Web 2 right now. After being in crypto like full-time degen.
Yeah, it's strange to me. It doesn't even make sense. Like,
let's go, Sue.
How's it going,
GM. We were talking about the complexities of going back to Web 2 in between Hyperliquid. You know, it's so over now. We had no choice. We can't degen anymore. Trenches are dead.
But,
you know,
but what does it even mean to go back to Web 2? Like, what would people do in Web 2? Like product manager?
I don't even know.
I think you have to end it all, to be honest. I think
Web 2 is dead, honestly, as well, because Web 2 has been cutting so many jobs, and like all the CS grads are saying that there's no jobs left, basically.
Yeah, I've just been hearing from friends like, yeah, I'm just so poor. It's so over for me. Like, I'm gonna pivot back to Web 2. My entire CV is fucked. Like, I've been in crypto for 4 years and built no career. I'm fucked. I'm just generally fucked. And I'm kind of like, what are you gonna do? And on top of that, like personally, I don't even. Like, sure, but all my skill sets over the last like 5 years have been built in crypto. Like, I understand the space from various angles. Like, I'm chilling here. But I guess a lot of people just didn't build skill sets, and they were just BD people that were pretty, and then just ended up with no skills or understanding of the space. It's rough.
Yeah.
Where's the thing about? It was like Donald Trump was endorsing Elon Musk and Tesla, saying he's going to buy a Tesla.
Oh, I saw that. The red Tesla.
Yeah, here you go. He's buying a red Tesla. Nice. Matches tie. Yeah, it's bullish. Chinese bullish.
He's trying to pump the stocks.
Yeah, isn't there this whole FUD thing as well, like that I'm seeing in like mainstream media about Elon and like the news or like the CNN fucking leftist people trying to push a wedge in between Elon and Trump?
Well, it's like, yeah, I think it's like a bunch of liberals that are basically trying to go break down a bunch of Tesla dealerships and stuff like that, and then getting beat up by other people. And Trump's like, I'm going to stop this. I buy it. And the solution is a red Tesla. That's how we stop this. But yeah, Sue, what do you think about this Hyperliquid stuff?
I think it's short-term bearish. Long-term, they can fix it. It's not that hard to fix. But yeah, I think, I mean, they said it's not an exploit. I mean, obviously, the guy basically removed max margin and then let it lick. It's you know, it's what they would call a highly profitable trading strategy. I mean, for those who don't know what happened, basically the guy went super long ETH on Hyperliquid, like maybe 300 mil US. And then when it got to about 1945 or so, I think he entered at around 1910, and then around 1940 or so, he pulled as much margin as possible, and then just let the thing lick. So when he did that, it got licked out at 1915 to the HLP. So HLP basically backstops all liquidation. So it gets that position. And then HLP is now like scrambling to basically hedge itself, right? Because it's now long against that position. So yeah, I mean, it was bound to happen at some point. Like it's like the way that the HLP is designed is basically it assumes that the liquidation is not nefarious, right? It assumes that it's like, okay, you come and you're just a normal guy and you got licked, and now it's random walk afterward what happens. So it could go up, could go down. But in this case, it's like very non-random, and also it's like a constructed liquidation basically. So
yeah, and then as a result, 100 mil taken out of HLP, price is down $1. I'm really waiting for that $12 hype, man, and then it's all in. No, I'm joking. Maybe
Sub 10.
who knows?
Sub
10, yeah. We won't. I think we can see sub 10. I think it's possible.
Honestly, I've been
12
long.
is
I've been
good.
long at this
12 is
shit since 20. So I'm just sitting on a fucking. I was adding to my longs.
A friend of mine who has like 100K hype tokens, when it bounced off the $20 range up to 28 here, I was calling for shorts here. I so badly wanted a short, and he was like, "No, bro, like trust me, like he's like the biggest Hyperliquid bull." And yeah, it's just not really looking good for him since then, unfortunately.
I'm giga long
really
on a
starting
reclaim
to-
at 20.
I'm really starting to see a couple kind of big Hyperliquid guys I know who got a lot of airdrops, like wanting to, like, I really like today and yesterday. Funny enough, even before this situation, but even more now because of this situation, wanting to maybe capitulate like some of their airdrop stuff. And also a lot of them, from what I had spoken to, they basically wanted to eventually like dump their Hyperliquid, at like $50 or $60, whatever crazy target they had, and put most of the stables in HLP. But I think it's like things like this sort of change the rhetoric around it a little bit. But in the grand scheme of things, like it doesn't matter that much. Let me get up the Yqboom sent me a post of like the HLP over time. It's like nothing in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, there you go.
There's like so little to come in terms of HLP P&L. There's like you can't really like say it's a massive thing now. Whether it's going to keep decreasing or whatever, I doubt it. But generally, like I don't see the massive concern here. But you guys probably know better. Sue probably know better. Like you said, midterm, Sue, it's not that bullish.
I mean, I think it will make people think twice about subscribing to HLP. And then I think also it has this problem of like you can't actually fix this issue unless you just start charging liquidation penalties. Like on Oxfund, we have liquidation penalties for larger size on meme coins. For like stables, we don't because it's not big enough to matter. But like in their case, it's like you basically have these massive positions that are getting liquidated at no liquidation penalty. So it's just a huge bet on that their public market making strategy can get out of positions. And I think it's one of those things where like when you're smaller, people don't come in RB, right? Like when Oxfund was small last year in the summer, like there's no one coming to RB because they don't even know about it. And then like it starts to come when people are like, wait, you can trade what? You can do what? And then, no position limits. So I kind of think like it's like a double-edged sword where like if you get a lot of traction, people then like these gig artists will sit there, and they're 9 fig to 10 fig people sometimes, and they'll sit there and be like, how do I ARB this thing? So I think we're now in that phase.
So you think that like this being illuminated essentially with this play and coming onto the timeline, everyone noticing it is gonna like bring more attention and more like people trying to do the same thing on the HLP?
I mean, I think people have already been trying for some time now. I mean, there was an exploit, I think, on the SNX perp on Hyperliquid in June 2023, and then they I think they tweeted about it then, and then they had to change the market making because I don't know if you guys remember, but it was actually extremely aggressive on alts before, and then they kind of dialed it back a bit. This is
in
like
terms
June
of leverage,
in terms of how they quote, in terms of how tight they quote. Like it's one of those things. Like, I mean, we have the same thing on Ox1 where guys will come and be like, "Can you quote tighter this, bigger this, bigger that?" And obviously, it's totally fine for like if you're a normal user. But if you're a guy who's like, you got your algo lined up to immediately move the spot price like before the engine can hedge, then you're kind of it's an impossible game. And actually, the funny thing is like at 3 Arrows, I mean, during our early days and FX days, our entire strategy was toxic flow, was generating this kind of flow against investment banks. Like when I was 24, I was at a bank and I realized that you could generate toxic flow against banks, and banks were so rich that they would just let you keep doing it as long as you could like, justify it. And so I was like, I'm going to leave and I'm going to start a firm to literally arb investment banks on foreign exchange quotes. So that's like exactly this, but like from the point of view of like the bank robber. So
Yeah.
it happens to be a space that like Kyle and I know extremely well. But yeah, it's impossible to it's impossible to prevent. All you can do is police like afterward. So like on Binance, it's not an issue, right? Because they have like, they can literally just freeze an account for like a year. On BitGet, actually, what they'll even do sometimes is like the entire account will just disappear, and they'll just take you to arbitration. So, but again, I think Hyperliquid aspires to be DeFi, so it can't really do these things as easily. Like they could add slashing, but at the end of the day, like there's a reason why you can't really have infinite liquidity and not get like run over super hard by big money eventually.
Yeah.
So
I like slashing. I think slashing's smart.
it's so cool to call it slashing instead of freezing. I feel like freezing is such the wrong word because it feels like you're like the government coming in and freezing funds. Like slashing is like, okay, it's like it's like staking something. Yeah.
I mean, I
guess
guess if you do
where
it
do
with
you-
their entire account, they just like you're just slashing a bit as like a penalty. I mean, instead of like fully freezing. So it's almost like it's like a penalty, like you've been slashed for
should be like a 20% penalty on deposits or like something to highly deter people. That's kind of one of the only ways to really do it.
Who decides this? The Hyperliquid team?
I mean, they could publicize like what are the slashing rules. If you do this, your balance just gets auto slashed. Like there's no like code is law, right? Like
I mean, I
this is
haven't
to
looked
protect
into
liquidity.
it. I haven't looked into it in this case. If you can see the wallets being like this guy depositing to Binance in some way from the same wallet. I'm sure you can obviously see it from the books, like similar size positions on Binance and stuff like that. But I mean, you probably also have a slight case here of what you can or can't really truly prove is like a certain person or party.
It's very hard.
Like I don't know how BitGet does it in the past, but like I mean, obviously after the OG situation, like I was surprised. I've not really heard of that many cases of big sexes this happening to where people were like super public about this or
it usually gets like I think that like the big sexes are good at doing like NDAs. They'll be like if you like first they'll freeze it and they'll be like if you want any chance of getting some of it back, you have to sign this NDA. You have to like go through this process and then blah blah blah. Because I think ultimately with the big sexes, it's a bit harder to FUD them, right? Like Coinbase has people's money locked for like months for like compliance reasons, and there's like FUD, and then Coinbase support will reply and be like, okay.
Yeah, I also think it's like how front facing and in with people, so to speak, everyone at Ox is. Like everyone thinks it's familiarity, right? Everyone thinks they know you. Everyone thinks they know Ox. Like so you can take it to the timeline and like everyone at Ox is
exactly.
Like
it wasn't corporate enough. It wasn't corporate enough, basically. If you have like this corporate veneer, then it's like, if you go to JP Morgan, you're like, who is JP Morgan? Is he alive? Like, where is he? Whereas like Ox Fund is like, oh, it's Nico or it's Sue, like I'm just gonna knock on Nico's door, knock on Sue's door. So it's a good lesson to institutionalize, like professionalize something and be like, oh. But yeah, I think on the like this is actually business as usual for most sexes that have this kind of problem. I mean, most sexes don't hedge their flow, right? Like BitGet doesn't hedge any flow. Mexi hedges very little flow, and so they have the same issue. Like Mexi actually is, I mean, if you go on the timeline, you can search for this, like Mexi funds, whatever. There's a lot of this stuff, but as long as they have
the moment you make money on Mexi on like a short on some meme coin, they just freeze and force you to KYC and do all that. No, that's my understanding.
Yeah, exactly. They'll start doing like hoops, and then but if they have a product people need, people will still use it. So they kind of just play that game of saying take it or leave it. because I think ultimately, if you don't police it, if you try to put up like a brave face and don't police it, and you just let them withdraw, like it will actually die. We saw that happen with a lot of perp dexes that were like VAMM model, like virtual AMM model, like Future Swap is one of them. Perp Protocol is another one where it's basically like you're trading against the pool, and you just get like the pool's getting raped, right? Like it's people moving prices, raping the pool. And DeFi is like, well, it's just code, so it just keeps going, and then ultimately it just like spirals to zero, right? So, I mean, SNX people used to rape the pool also, so it's ultimately like peer to pool. Like people, big guys are going to come and rape the pool.
Yeah, when I used to work at a VC, I actually did a lot of like due diligence for like certain protocols. There was actually like VAMM models and stuff. And I remember just putting in these reports like this shit is like they're just gonna get raped long term. Like it's a bad value like return for anybody investing in this early.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like early, yeah, sure, you get seed round, you're gonna fucking dump your tokens right away. But regardless, like it's just gonna get raped on chain.
Yeah, it's just too facile, and you can't stop it either if you put it on chain, because you end up just being like, okay, here's a pool of money of either investors or treasury or like solicited, and then here's the pool, and then anyone can come and trade against this pool. Well, these quotes they're not gonna make it, right, for the most part, unless you have some policing of flow. There's just no other way. I remember like Bybit early days, like we used to arb them during 3C crypto days, and it was like they were internalizing everything, and they would have a 1K BTC cap per account. So we'd have like 8 accounts, and what you would do is you would just buy like 1K BTC across like 8 accounts, and you do it on like a weekend. And basically, what would end up happening was that the junior guy or whatever, like they'd wake up and just see that they're like suddenly short 8K like BTC, and they're like, and they can't hedge because their algos are not meant to hedge. They're not meant to have 8 guys click at the same time. So they'll just like panic.
What was Bitcoin price? What was Bitcoin price at this time?
6K, 8K range. Yeah. So, in dollars, the size of the position is like if it's like maybe 8 mil.
6 mil. Yeah, 6 to 8 mil multiplied by 8 accounts, like
No. It's like yeah. So it's talking about like a $40 position or something like that. Like,
the point is that you can just keep creating more accounts. You can't really like limit people's size.
Yeah, you can just keep creating more accounts. Like the position limits don't work. If you don't hedge flow, then someone can come and click the same price. Like that's what we learned in the FX days, which is like if a bank shows you one price, you can just find 30 other clients that they're showing it to and become a client of their client, and then buy the same quote from the same bank in like 20 different places, because that bank's it's assuming that it's only quoting that price, like it's only good for one client basically. So it's like you basically then go and you buy it everywhere, and now the bank is suddenly short from the offer, and he's going to need to cover because he has no view, he has no idea where it's going. He's like, well, you might know, right? You might know it's going up, even though you don't actually know it's going up. He might think so then he's going to chase it up, and as he chases it up, then you can sell back to him. So he locks in a loss against you instantaneously because you've just taken him much higher beyond his risk limit than he thought at that price. So it's like a game of it's like a PvP game basically.
Yeah.
If you think about
and
it.
on the account thing, that's the whole thing with Ox. Like I remember speaking to someone when the Ronaldo 10 coin thing launched.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I'm trying to short it on Mexi. Can I short it on Ox as well? And I was like, yeah, we just listed it actually. So you can short it there. And then he was like, yeah, well, I just bought 10 phones and 10 SIM accounts because Mexi like position limit on is $100. So just to open $1,000 short, he had to like buy 10. Like I don't even know what he probably made returns on it. I'm not gonna lie, obviously.
Yeah, that coin went down a lot, and like OLP lost like 30 million Ox on Star. So it was it was. I think these guys are just like giga optimists. Like they know it's gonna go down 99%. It's like, well, it's worth the value of the phone. It's
so he bought 10 SIMs, 10 phones, and just fucking shorted the shit out of it on Mexi.
Yeah. And thanks to Apple's amazing trade-in system as well, you can get the money back from half the phones to buy the next set of phones to do it again on the next coin. So it's
I'd hope
But
people
honestly,
How do you
I
do
hope
that?
people
You
bought
mean you
some
sell back
shitty
the phone to
Android.
Apple?
Yeah, Apple has a program where you can basically trade in your old like laptops, phones to get credit towards the new. Like, I mean, obviously it's in-store credit, so you're only going to use it to buy like either new or old devices, whatever. It's like that's like the Ponzi
Good
of how they
Ponzi.
keep you
It's
in the.
great Ponzi.
We were speaking about it today, like amazing Ponzi for getting your customers to buy your next generation product by
it is
thinking
great, but it's
that's
such a
cheap.
scam.
You know what I mean? It's
'Cause,
such
like,
a scam, yeah.
You'll
But
throw
it's
in
the
like an
greatest Ponzi
iPhone
ever.
14, and they're like, that's about like $140 worth of credits, mate. And you're like, what? I bought
No,
this
it's not
6
too
months ago.
bad. It's actually not too bad. I traded in 2 old MacBook like 13 inches from like 2022, and I got something like around $500 per one. Bear in mind, I bought them for I think around like 1.2K.
That's
So
not bad
like
at all.
Okay, fair.
2 to 3 years later, and like of solid use these laptops got, like they really were put through it, and I still got like half the value back. It's pretty good.
Do you think they actually use the parts like they claim they do? They must, right?
I
I'm sure they
mean,
can recycle it. Yeah.
considering
what they
that
say.
the
That's their whole
lithium,
game plan.
you know,
I
who
guess they
knows,
do.
man. I guess they
But
do.
regardless, they make that shit for $100 somewhere and then sell it to you for like.
Do you
There's
think
probably
there's a reason?
I think it's a solid arm of selling it back to Apple in Taiwan because like they're probably making the chips in Taiwan anyway.
Yeah,
So
I did this in
maybe they
Taiwan
can
as
more-
well. But I think
maybe
the
they
value
can-
is the same. The value is the same in most countries. Like, I don't think it matters. I think actually, depending on where the value of the device is more expensive, I think you actually get more. So, like for example, I mean, actually, it's probably worse in the States because they have like terrible infra for this shit. But is there a reason, Sue, why you think he did this ARB on Hyperliquid on ETH specifically, and not another coin? Think it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think because ETH is kind of a unpumpable coin, and also it's in this range. So I think he feels safe. Like, I mean, he can't do this over CPI. Like saw someone tweet like, why don't you just do this over CPI? Go long here, short Binance. Well, it's because the market can whipsaw, and then you're fucked on both legs, right? But basically, he doesn't want to take a chance. He doesn't want there to be like an exogenous factor. The whole thing is open and shut within an hour, right? So you just go for the quick bang bang, and then you're gone. It's like a bank robbery. You go in, you put on the masks, you get out.
And given this guy did this with around 5 to 10 mil margin, what do you think he has like total kind of portfolio or like fund size to be able to do this kind of play?
It should be quite big. I mean, it should be 9 figs. I mean, it looks professional. I've seen this kind of stuff before. In 2018, like people used to play these crazy games on OKX. I can talk about it for like hours, but basically, yeah, it is obviously very professional. I mean, his previous scalp right before the Trump announcement, I don't think he was an insider, but I think he was just like seeing the liquidity pocket. Like it was bound to like pop, and he kind of like if you look at it, he sold right like maybe 15 minutes after the announcement, and then it went up so much more afterward also. So he probably just like feels like an idiot. But I think yeah, he's clearly very, very sophisticated with like these like short-term liquidity pocket games. If he was an insider, he would have bought Cardano and XRP also, and he also would have just like held his Bitcoin and Ether longs for another 2 hours probably. But
I guess Gotbit is back.
Gotbit is back. Yeah, this is
The secret Gotbit insider.
No way, Alex got out of jail. They let him.
He's trading on hype.
Avi Eisen is trading from inside. Maybe. I mean, SBF he used to be quite into these kind of things too.
What do you think about did you see the recent prison stream?
I did. I thought it was funny that he did it. I mean, I thought he was relatively. He seemed pretty in good spirits, all things considered. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong view on it. I think I'm amazed that he's concerned about the things that he's concerned about, like when he wrote the thread about like Doge and stuff. Like he's still thinking about like big government issues and stuff while inside for like this long. So,
how much access to information does he have in like tech wise? Do you think he typically has in there?
I mean, I don't know the American prison system that well, so I feel like I have to ask like someone like Shkreli if you want to know like exactly how MDC works. because he knows MDC itself really well. But I would imagine it's not that much access. Like usually you get like a couple hours max of like tablet time, and on your tablet you can like send emails and you can receive some emails. But I mean, with MDC, with the US, like people sneak cell phones in and stuff. They, so like anything is possible.
I got a weird feeling with SBF though. I don't think he's sneaking in phones and laptops.
I don't think he would. No, I mean other
Yeah.
people might, but I don't think he would.
Where is it? So that's ChatGPT.
He did a lot of other sneaky shit, so I wouldn't be surprised. No.
I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
high
cool.
risk. I mean, you're gonna get. So apparently, he got put into solitary after this. This interview, because I don't think the prison didn't authorize it, because the prison would definitely know about it beforehand. But maybe he said things on it that weren't. He shouldn't not supposed to say.
Or it was just a trade-off. Like the prison was just like, okay, you can do the interview if you go into solitary after.
I mean, prisons are not
that.
that organized, so maybe he just like booked a interview with Tucker. Like he booked an online visit with Tucker, and then like didn't tell the prison that Tucker was going to record it and put it on like the internet. That's also pretty likely, I think. So basically, the prison thought like it was just SBF talking to a friend, and turned out like it got released as like an interview from prison. So.
I love Tucker's
Yeah, it looks
face
like
in that
not
interview.
a lot of social media or web browsing, limited legal research, obviously because he's probably like doing some stuff with his case. I doubt that, like you said, I doubt he's like doing contraband, like cell phone stuff. That would just be retarded. I mean, maybe he probably just has a, phone call with some like good guys here and there, and, they run him through what's going on, their thoughts on the market, thinks about it.
I mean,
it's probably better when you have a bit of distance from it in some way.
Yeah. I mean, the main alpha stuff that people do is like, okay, if you have, in the Singapore context, it's like you can receive 5 emails a day from 5 contacts. You can have 4 contacts whitelisted, and then these people can send you emails per day, so 4 per day. And then you can only send out 4 per month. So that's like pretty low. But what people do is they can like cluster and like batch them. So one guy can send for like 20 guys, and they just have to like put it in like code, like put it in some paragraphs, put it in like a story. So then like, well, one guy will like aggregate for a lot of guys, and then you can end up like messaging people like every day, basically. So people can still run like, you can still run a business from the inside that way.
Prison
does the prison have do they get visibility of the emails, or is it private?
Yeah, they do, but they don't have time to read all of it, and they also don't really care. So, but the thing you have to understand about prison is like, they treat it as like you're already charged and basically committed. So they're like, okay, serve it out and then be gone, right? Like even if you do stuff like starting to punch officers, it's very hard to get added time. You only get added time if you literally like try to assault an officer and kill him or something, or if you like kill or you like attack another inmate. Like if you don't, like, barring that, like it's pretty hard. Like there was one guy inside, he got so many solitary days he couldn't serve them all, because under Geneva Convention, you're not supposed to serve more than 5 days of solitary in a row. It's considered inhumane. So they can only book you for 5 days solitary, and then 5 days normal, and then 5 days solitary. So he was in solitary. He was booked so many days of solitary, he couldn't serve them all. Like he had so many extra days left by the end of solitary. So it's like the prison can't extend your sentence very easily. So
what, they just
like
make him not do his solitary, or what's the deal? They just give up?
No, like let's say you're in for a year and you just like keep making offenses every day. Each day that you do an offense, they're going to add 5 days of solitary, but you don't have enough days in your actual sentence to serve those solitary days, because
okay, I see.
It's like you've gone too far now. You can just crash out and just like go crazy.
Yeah. So people can be a little bit
on your 5 days, you can just commit all the crimes because you can't go any further.
Prison hacks 101.
Diminishing returns on punishment.
But solitary will make you go crazy. Like I think it's highly unrecommended. I think the kind of guys who do it, they end up going crazy, because you basically get half rationed, and the room you're in is a lot worse. It's like it's, I mean, I've never been, so I can only hear stories, but basically you are like it's a bit damp. There's like sometimes there's insects on the floor or whatever. So it's just like, whereas the normal cells are actually nice, like they're clean at least, and it's well lit. So you're kind of really asking to get tortured basically.
I know
How
someone
often
that's
do
been time in
cleaners come in the
solitary.
rooms? Sorry.
Cleaners don't come, but you clean your own cell. So
Clean your
like
own? Okay.
yeah, so what you use, so you get these towels and you basically, so what we would do is like after dinner we would just like wipe down the whole thing. It's like, so it's four to a cell. So after dinner we would then do a routine where we're like wiping down the cell and cleaning it. It's actually quite fun. Like you like you know, you move everything to the side of the cell and you like clean the floor, you clean like the sides, you know, and they give you soap and stuff. So yeah, like cleaners don't clean your cell, you clean your own cell, but it's like super clean because like the
You
surfaces
have nothing else
are,
to do but clean.
you have nothing else to do but clean. The surfaces are really smooth.
My mom would be so happy.
Yeah, it's like a nursery basically. It's like a baby nursery. But yeah, like SBF, I mean, if he's with Diddy in the cell, like it's a little bit iffy. It's a little bit iffy, but
Poor guy, bro. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
I feel like getting a cell
maybe they
switch
did
if
a
you're with
reverse
Diddy
role.
in a cell is gonna be easy, bro. Just be like, yeah, he's trying to molest me, and then you just get a cell switch.
yeah, it's easier to get switches too. Like you don't need any reason. You can just say I don't want to be in this room, and they'll switch for you. So
Oh, really? You
the
be
fact that
"I'm
he's
outside."
the fact that he's staying in that cell with them tells me that he actually likes being in a cell with
Wait,
Diddy.
wait.
I mean,
I don't think he's in a cell. I think he's in the same like wing. He's in the same section.
okay.
I don't think
He's
he's
in-
sharing
yeah.
a room with Diddy.
Okay, yeah.
Takes a certain type of guy.
They
to stay in
they
the-
put financial, like, quote unquote, like scammers or whatever in the same cell as child molesters, or like, no, he's not a child.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's like a famous thing, isn't it? It's like a well-known person. So
No, it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's just. I mean, in the Singapore context, they put financial with sexual with like whatever. The main thing we'll separate is like super violent versus non-violent.
Okay.
So if you're violent, you get a stripe on your shirt, and you put with other violent people. This is stuff like you like beat your wife, you like killed someone, you like gang riot.
Is it
So-
common for people to lie about what their charge was? Like, is there any way for most people? I mean, I guess if it's very
Yes.
public, you can't. If you're public, it's going to be very hard because people are going to see
Yeah,
the news.
like for me, you can't really hide it. But for people, yeah, you can hide it. Like especially for the people that do like sex offenses, they'll usually like downplay it. They'll be like, yeah, I'm in for like financial crime, or
Tax
something. But
evasion,
actually, you find
yeah.
out like they're molesters. Like I had two cellmates who were like molesters, and I didn't even realize until like later on. But it's like not a big deal because they won't molest you or anything. It's just they'll just make weird comments sometimes, and you're like, wait, I think you're in here for molesting. That's like a molesting comment to make. But
You're like, I'm not quite so bullish on you anymore.
yeah. No, like this one guy one day he was like, I was circumcised when I was 6 and it was crazy. And I'm like, fuck man, I wish you didn't tell me that. Like I don't wanna
Instant
know.
cell switch.
Instant no. But yeah. I had a good cell. Like I actually really like my cellmates.
Do you think that
like, honestly,
these-
if you had
a
a
lot of these
prison
pop-
setup and you could trade in the trenches from prison in like a
Oh my
cell, I think
God.
it'd just be hilarious.
Giga locked in, bro.
Send us all there, bro.
That's like
It's so
seriously
locked
locked in. We should set up a prison.
Okay, Nico, relax.
Prison setup in Bali. Push-ups every hour.
We actually drove past from the airport the other day, and like I think it was the first prison we've seen in Indonesia. And like we asked the Uber driver, Gojek driver, whatever, and he was like, telling us some stories. And obviously, like even with foreigners, I think they're pretty enforcing on the death penalty for drug use and stuff like that. There's like some Australian tourists and stuff like that. There was a case as well. These two pretty big e-com guys in Dubai recently who basically they didn't pay, I think, some female like escort strippers kind of type figures, and the girls then basically like exposed them for doing cocaine in Dubai. I think it was just doing cocaine. It wasn't even like selling it or anything like that. And now I think they're like potentially serving like a 20-year sentence or something like that. But due to some foreign something or other, they like might get out of it. I don't know. It was like quite a public case.
Pay your hookers, guys. Always pay the hookers.
Bro, that's
I was
that's
gonna
the thing. In
I was gonna say,
Dubai,
do
it's
you think
always
some of
like,
these
oh, go
do you
ahead.
think some of these big traders are, you know, how many of these big traders do you think are like individuals versus large kind of like groups or funds who are trading on Hyperliquid?
I think mostly individuals. Yeah. I mean, if you're a fund, you don't need to trade on Hyperliquid, right? You can just trade on Binance. So,
Yeah, exactly. What time span is this over? It's
Weekly
just
P&L.
daily and weekly. Yeah. Interesting. It's actually a super useful site though for seeing Hyperliquid stuff.
Yeah, this is good. Go on the liquidation map.
Yeah, liquidation map's cool. How do you typically, Sue, think about like, you know, these like big kind of exchanges? So like not so much exchanges, but these big guys like, you know, hunting liquidations and all this kind of stuff. Like in terms of how do you weigh up the, you know, how close you are to this one or that one, and in the grand scheme of like the macro or something like that?
I mean, this stuff doesn't matter so much just because I think price discovery is still mainly on like Coinbase and Binance and Bitfinex. So like I think if you look at the OI on Hyperliquid, it's not that high yet. I think it could get there someday where it's like highly impactful on the price itself. But I think the liquidations just aren't that big to be the main thing. I think it's more like, I mean, the whale traders, they like to watch the walls, right? So the spot walls on Coinbase, Bitfinex, and so on, because those are kind of the signals that they give to other people that like, okay, I'm prepared to buy at 81.5K. So like people say, okay, there's like a 2K Binance spot wall at 82K. Now that could be a spoof, right? It could get canceled when it reaches.
How much spoofing still happens today in contrast to like, because I know 5 years ago or something when I started crypto, it was like bad. It was like all the time, but I feel like it got less, but I might be wrong.
It's got a lot better now. It's gotten a lot better now. I think you can also look at the age of the order. I think what people kind of realize over time is like, okay, the age of the order matters. So you'll see these walls get put in for like, you know, a couple days or a few weeks. And then people can read into like, what does that mean? Does it mean like, you know, liquidity attracts liquidity sometimes. So you put in a wall, then the market will go lower to hit the wall to see what happens. Like, is it a real wall, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like spot walls and like perp walls are something that people like who like scalp a lot. They watch this stuff really carefully because it is like indication of interest. Because actually, like if you're a giga whale, a lot of times the best execution is to just put a giant wall at a round number. And then, you know, when the market's nuking, the market has to trade with your wall to get size done. So your order becomes a matching point for like big size. And then if you have big, you know, if your size is size, then it'll bounce off your wall. And then you got like, let's say you put a 10K Bitcoin wall there, you got it filled for 5K Bitcoin, then it goes up another 10%. You can just sell it back and now you've made a lot of money. Right. So
I remember last cycle on the way down. So beginning bear market, there was like some wall somewhere. I don't remember the exact price point or anything on BTC. And everyone's like, yeah, this is where we're going to trade. And last moment, like this shit got pulled.
Yeah.
And like the whole timeline was like raging. Like, this is illegal. You can't do spoofing, blah, blah, blah. I just remember how big of a topic it was. It was kind of like my intro to looking at fucking liquidation maps.
Yeah. I mean, what a lot of people do as well, like they'll put in a buy wall and then they'll start selling like TWAP selling into their own buy wall, right? And essentially it'll look bullish because it's like, okay, there's volume trading at the wall, but they're net selling into their own wall. You see what I'm saying? So
wouldn't you
like
just depending on size, you'd essentially be delta neutral then, no?
Yeah, you would be, but the idea is like liquidity generation, right? Like let's say you think that no one is going to hit you because there's no news coming for the next, let's say 2 days. You can put in a big buy wall and then just sell in front of your buy wall, like just tee up your buy wall. And then there's enough people attracted to the buy wall that they'll buy in front of your buy wall. And then you're selling to those guys. And then last minute, you can pull half of it or, you know, some percentage that's left. And now you've like sold more than you otherwise would have sold. If you just like sold without a wall, then the market would have just gone straight down.
So you're kind of just using the psychology of people seeing the wall in your favor.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how, like, from a poker perspective, it's like you're balancing your range, right? Like your wall range can be half spoofs and half real, right? Like they can be real in the sense that you want to get filled there, and they can be spoofy in the sense that I mean, not spoofy is the wrong word. It's
like an illusion
more
of
of a mixed
size.
strategy. It's illusion that you want to buy that whole size there.
Yeah.
It's still a bona fide order, right? Like nothing illegal about that. Like it's a bona fide order. But yeah, it's not like your true intention may not be to get filled for that entire size. And so when you see those walls get pulled, yeah, it's a big rug
It's just
pull.
a front run arb play, really, because people will just like expect you to buy there with size, and then
yeah,
like
they think you have a free option.
buy.
They think they have a free option because like worst case, I sell back to the wall, right?
Yeah.
So I have like a huge risk reward where either like bounces off the wall huge and then I sell it out, or I just kind of sell it back to the wall. If the wall is almost like half gone, then I'll sell it back to the wall.
Yeah.
So that stuff used to work really well back in 2018, 19. You could just like scalp in front of a wall and like you could go like 20x long in front of a wall, and then odds are you can scalp it out and like make a bunch of money because the walls are just so real.
But I think generally
venues.
Like my view on like people actually using these like quote unquote technical indicators, etc., has like avidly diminished over like the last year. Like maybe it's also I'm less on the perps trading side than I used to be because I just used to do perps trading and now I do meme coins and all this shit. But like the skills people have built in perps trading has diminished this cycle like so much. Like no one has the skills anymore. They're like early 2020, like everyone on the timeline was like, when you look at spot order flow, XYZ, and now it just seems like no one has built that skill or understands how any of it works anymore.
I absolutely agree. I think it's kind of a lost art in part because meme coins is just like a better place to use alpha. Like if you want to be a giga autist, it's probably easier to just like do meme coins. Whereas like Bitcoin now trades like a TradFi asset. I don't even know if the walls matter as much on Bitcoin as they used to. Like they still matter on ETH because ETH is not trading like a TradFi asset anymore. It actually traded like one last cycle, and this cycle it doesn't. It trades more like a meme coin. So, and Solana also doesn't trade like a TradFi asset. But Bitcoin, like you can do all your charting that you want, but I think it trades very differently than it used to. So that's one reason for it. And then the second is like, yeah, it's just like you can put in all the time, but I think the venues are also like the good perps traders now. They, the guys I know who did really well this cycle on perps, like they did really well like shorting alt unlocks, like shorting alts. And like going long like into the Trump trade, like basically there's like twice a year where you're supposed to go like giga long and do that, and then the rest of the time you're like pretty neutral and you're like shorting stuff mainly, like long shorts, like maybe long Bitcoin shorts something, long Bitcoin shorts something.
I made a killing on
playing
unlocks.
the passive losers game.
Like, I think ARB unlock and these type of things I went short, and that shit just like those were like my biggest perps trade this year. It's like ARB unlock, and they always pump price from any unlock token right before it unlocks. It's the most like playbook thing to have played this cycle.
Yeah, I mean, no one has the money anymore to like do a bullish unlock. Just like no one has it, and so it's like Athena. I think is the most bullish unlock that we've seen ever this cycle. In that it didn't go down, and did try to go up, but if you look at like Tia, was a crazy bearish unlock. If you look at like
oh my god,
Hondo, crazy bearish unlock. I mean, guys would just have these schedules and just like short stuff on unlock. So I think like the art is like more fundamental. Like I think people don't chart the way they used to. Like people used to chart like alt BTC, right? They used to chart like these like crazy charts, like multi-year charts, and like all the charts are kind of broken because what people realize is that okay, if you're trading, let's say like something like what's an example, like an ETC or like a LTC, like you're trading something that becomes irrelevant over time. So you're almost like
But
it's like
how much do you think in terms of trading like TA and looking at like ETH BTC? Now that's obviously a massive one, but let's say ENA BTC or some shit like that. It's also like but the mind share, like because in 2020 that was still a thing. Like you'd look at alt BTC pairs, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a mind share thing of how many traders like pay attention to it and care about it?
I think it's about capital flows. It's about capital flows, right? Like if you look on Binance during 2019, there was a lot of volume on alt BTC because people mainly held BTC and then they would buy alts with BTC and they would sell alts back to BTC. And that's also because BitMEX, all the alt perps were alt BTC, like XRP, BTC, ETH BTC. So like the flows were actually coming from BTC. Whereas this cycle, and I mean, that was already starting to end in 2021, 2022. But like this cycle,
Mhm.
no one is really trading Bitcoin for other coins, right? They just
Yeah.
like hold their Bitcoin and they're like, okay, like I managed to hold this amount of Bitcoin. I don't really trade with it. I just put it to the side. So
Yeah, I did an
that's
analysis on that, and I sent it to Nico as well, just about like where money is flowing. You could see like out of exchanges, like it's just big, like how much Bitcoin exchanges are holding is like at fucking all-time lows. Like
yeah,
everyone is just taking it out of exchanges, putting it onto like cold storage and just leaving it there.
yeah,
XRP is like at all-time highs on exchanges because it's probably just normies buying that shit on exchanges, and no
Yeah.
one is really like giving a fuck about moving it off chain, which means it's like shitty holders, so to speak. No, not shitting on XRP, but it's just like normie people.
just
And
normies. I
ETH
mean,
is,
like similar to Litecoin. I mean, Litecoin, I think 30% of all supply was on Coinbase. You know, stuff
yeah,
like that. XRP is probably similar. So
like the overall like inflow into any asset is essentially just the only asset that has inflow was Bitcoin. Sol had quite a bit of inflow, like, and people holding it on chain, but like for us, every other fucking altcoin, including ETH, was just being held on exchanges primarily.
yeah.
Like no one actually wants to hold it long-term cold storage.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think the most bearish thing for ETH I saw recently was like percentage of like ETH held in like larger wallets on chain, and it was like been going straight down since 2022. I mean, I think part of that is like whales getting licked and like people swapping to other chains, other coins. That definitely needs to reverse for ETH to start going up. So
I just don't see I don't see the narrative anywhere
Yeah.
of like ETH being something people want to hold. Like that might change, but I just don't see it. Like I'm not seeing it on the timeline.
Myself and Dom were speaking to a more normie kind of guy today who like kind of knows a little bit about crypto, and he was saying how he was DCAing into ETH, and he was still very, very much using the methodology of, well, this thing used to be like worth so much, like I can't believe I get to buy it at the same price it
that's
was
true.
2 years ago. It's like so undervalued right now. And it was like the first time we had to like say to someone, like stop and be like, but have you actually considered like there's a reason it's worth less now, maybe? You know, it's not just a case of cyclical, you know, I'm smart because I'm buying red. It's like maybe you're actually just buying something that is like just going down. I think I just don't think no one has a definitive answer on this this stage.
I mean, so here's the thing, right? Like XRP also has like very low real value, but it's like almost gonna flip ETH in FTV soon. So
It already
like,
did, right? Like a week
I think
ago.
I think it already did. Yeah. So that's usually a. I mean, for one, that's usually a very bearish sign for all markets in crypto, but hopefully not this time. But yeah, I think
check the
usually
FTVs.
So
226 bill to
220. Okay, so it reflipped.
Very close.
It flipped briefly, but I think that's my thing on like recently I made that post about cycles, and it comes to Nico's point about like people are just thinking about everything from last cycle and their relative familiarity with it, including like I was on a Spaces today just listening in real quick, and then somebody was like, yeah, well, at the end of like once the cycle continues again, so they're still bullish. They were like, yeah, we're gonna see Bitcoin pump and then ETH and then alts and then meme coins. That's how it's gonna go. And I was like, bro, are you stuck in 2020? Like we've seen this cycle play out. It didn't play out like that. Like last cycle was that like viral image of like everything goes into BTC, flows into ETH, flows into alt, floats into meme coins, and it resets. And people are still subscribing to that mindlessly instead of just like reevaluating what they think. And it's like giga bearish.
I will say though, like if ETH wanted to pump, if they really wanted to pump it, it wouldn't be that hard because they have the on ramps and they have the ETFs, but they just need a better narrative and they need to get like people in. So it's like it doesn't need that many reasons. It just needs a better, like it may need to go lower. Like if it goes to a low enough price, it will probably bounce 80% off that price, like on FBTC, because it'll be like, you know, the capitulation wick. Right now, I think it's been a little bit orderly. So people are like, how do I buy this? This chart looks so orderly going down. But you are at like very historic levels. Like I saw today, like I think Chun just tweeted like, how is ETH BTC 0222 now? And this guy, I don't know if you know him well, but he's F2 Pool founder. Has got like billions of Bitcoin or whatever. So if you get like Bitcoin billionaires to be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna chuck like 5K Bitcoin into this thing, then
Mhm.
like that'll be like 2019ish, where like Bitcoin whales made the bottom of ETH because ETH people had no money left,
Yeah.
and then flipped it on them for a 2x in Bitcoin. So you're
And I
probably
still
gonna see
think, like,
similar.
to Nico's point, like, I think if that what you're saying, Sue, starts,
Yeah.
I think that normies are gonna, like, same thing what they do with XRP. Like, I was checking with
Yeah.
my friend the other day, and he showed me his like exchange wallet, and he was like, yeah, so I have like, he had like 15K in BTC, and he had like 30K in XRP. Admittedly, it was at all-time highs. I told him to sell. He didn't want to listen to me. He was like, no, it's going to $1. But like, I think the moment ETH starts pumping, and if retail actually becomes, comes back on board, like, people are going to default to like the assets they know, right? Which is
Yeah,
like
exactly.
ETH from
It
last
has
cycle.
it has a huge brand, and it's trading at I mean, it has at least a big brand as Ripple, so it doesn't need to
Yeah.
like it can't beat Bitcoin. They tried too long to try to beat Bitcoin, and you can't actually beat Bitcoin that easily. So all people that held ETH thinking that it was Bitcoin rotated from ETH to Bitcoin, but it's like still decent if you look at it versus XRP. So is it decent versus Sol? Maybe not also. So that's kind of the problem. So a lot of people rotated from ETH to Sol and ETH to Bitcoin. So
And what do you think is like the reason? Because it kind of happened in the shadows, I think, during the bear market, that like smart money kind of decided on like Sol being the winner of the L1 race, so to speak, last cycle.
I think it was pretty
Like,
organic. I mean, I think that actually a lot of smart money missed it. Like I had friends who bought like Sol at under 10, but they all sold it at 20 because they're like, this is
yeah,
already doubled. And so the run up was pretty fast. I mean, I think the Galaxy round was really bullish for Sol actually, because it just brought a lot of attention, and it was like a cheap round, and so that like created attention on it. And I think it was still the most usable L1, monolithic L1. So I
yeah,
think like the tooling around it all kind of came together. Like all the stuff that was built last cycle ended up being used this cycle, but in ways that people didn't expect. Like Radium didn't expect themselves to be like this pump fund, like landing point.
yeah.
Like they actually were like almost a dead project. And Serum actually did die. So
This was exactly like the post I sent you that I made. Essentially, Lucas told me like you worded it slightly wrong for like people for it to be intuitive, and I was like, fair point. I wrote it in a rush, but it's kind of like everything this cycle. People think is like a random thing of like, oh, meme coins popped out of nowhere and like killed the cycle, but it's actually just built upon last cycle's like
yes,
PVP of L1s.
Always
But
is.
everyone
Always
thinks
like
it's a repetitive cycle after cycle. Like DeFi is going to do the same thing again as last. It's like, no, it builds upon each other. So I
I've
call
been
this
making
shit Lego cycle.
I've been making this point to like ETHards for some time, which is like, like DeFi, Ponzi, high interest, never going to happen again because people already get that game. And also, if you really understand Solana meme coin, it's the same game. It's the same like like 1,000 holders and one guy sell. Only one guy can get out, basically.
Yeah.
It's the same game actually as the ohm game. The ohm game is everyone's rebasing and everyone's making money without doing anything. But then if one guy sells, it's over. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, Solana is just like a more consumer fun game for people to play. It's hard to compete with where, it's not being asked to like learn anything. And also it's like clearly it's more clear that you're gambling. So people don't get mad at it. Like they don't cry in the casino as much. I mean, obviously after Trump and Melania and Libra, there was some crying, but it's still like fundamentally respected as a game. It's hard to compete with.
Yeah. It's fucking hilarious, Nico. You're just on Pump Fun, and it's just like they've made so much money, and this shit is still the most schizo, like seizure-inducing platform I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, I speak to them about it so much, but it's like I think the team is massively. I mean, they know the numbers, so they know best. But I don't know a single person who trades on this UI. Like trading
Yeah.
on this UI is so AIDS and
You try to
advanced.
press the new released pair, and then you're on a
Oh,
different one.
this is just awful.
This is just like, it's like
Sorry, Pump Fun Boys, but this is fucking shit. This is
maybe
the
there's
worst
one or
I've
two
ever seen.
features that
No,
just-
no.
but
There's nothing on this user interface that anyone's ever used. No one's done this.
I was trying to be nice, you know. It's just because this was so iconic, like this was so well executed. You know, just the timing, the energy, just everything about it was like so perfect. But Advanced was unfortunately, you know, this is a lesson in shipping good things continuously multiple times being difficult. Even
No,
with
the spacing's all
a lot
all
of
wrong.
resources.
Spacing's all wrong. Everything's wrong.
Yeah, like what's this?
This is
What is
actually
this?
just bad. Let me go.
Like,
This is
can I
bad.
close this? Can I get rid of this? How do I?
Bro,
Why is there a
Alan's gonna watch
monster?
this
Why is
stream.
there a monster drink in the top right? Are we doing an ad for Monster here?
Oh, it's just like a meme. It's just we
Okay.
love White Monster, and I can't get any in Indonesia, so it's just it's here with us in spirit. This was fun though. Maybe let's wrap up here. But this was good.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on,
Yes.
Sue. Appreciate the
Of course.
stories.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys. Thank you.
See you guys.
Nice.